All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine evening. Happy Halloween. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Halloween. We just got back from trick-or-treating. My son had a blast. He was dressed up as a green beetle. He picked out the costume. We just let him roll with it. Kids got to be kids. I hope everybody's having a great evening. It is raining here and not so sunny, but very cold. Uh, Duluth, Minnesota. Tonight's video du jour is a treat from a friend of mine. I'm happy to say that I know this guy. We became friends through Tales of Argosa, or as it was formerly known as Low Life Fantasy. Um, Jason Hobbs, Bite the Bullet. This little pamphlet RPG is 21 pages long, including the front and back cover. It is staple bound. It's on a heavy card front and then pretty heavy weighted paper on the inside. There's one piece of art in here, which is pretty cool. It's a skull with a 6-shooter. This is a Western, kind of a dark Western. Let me just read the preface here. Available on itch.io or I think drive-through. This could be the end. Death is imminent. Faith is personal. Telegraph danger before action. Encourage player narrative. Conflict is not just mechanics. Create opportunities for burdens, faith, and characteristics to drive the story. Call for saves only when attributes are harmed or when the PC is in possible danger. A successful save may keep them from it. Only roll when real consequences are on the line. The premise: the world didn't end with a bang. It just dried up. Crops failed. Governments and towns crumbled. That left Gunsmoke a sharp word and faith. Now it's generations later. People live in worn-out settlements, carry old world iron, and cling to whatever beliefs that kept them breathing. Some say miracles still happen out here in the waste, but they're fueled by something deeper, more internal than bullets. You've got grit, ghost, and something you believe in. That's worth dying for. That's enough. Every town is a candle against a vast dark. Every ride into the wilderness is a wager with death. Guys, this is a gem in the rough. Um, I'm going to tell you, go pick it up. It's a very lightweight RPG, but there is a bunch of charts in here. If you're running, hell, I can see stealing some of this stuff for Deadlands, or if I was running a Western Heroes and Hardships game, I would be stealing some of these charts because they are phenomenal. Jason, he's a great GM. If you haven't checked out Hobbs and Company, go to check out his YouTube channel, Hobbs and Company. I'll try to remember to put a link in the doobly-doo. I'm horrible about that, so you know how that'll go. But hey, if I remember, I will do it. I met Jason through um, I can't think of the name. Tales of Argosa, Low Fantasy Gaming. Steve Gradzinski's homage to OSR related quick play, fast and brutal RPG. And Jason played in one of my games and I had a blast. He's a great player. If you get a chance to get him in one of your games, please do. He's a lot of fun. But he's also a really good GM. I've watched many of his streams. He's a big OSR guy, and I'm not a huge fan of OSR. But sometimes you just got to watch it for what it is. And watching Jason and his crew play is a lot of fun. So I'm going to say go check out his channel. It's a lot of fun. He does a lot of the local cons in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Pretty sure he'll be at Con of the North in February. He's always at Gamehole Con. So if you see him, tall guy, bald, super nice guy. I can say stand-up guy. A lot of fun. He put me in touch with Dave Beatty. Dave and I, Weird Frontiers is a phenomenal game, and Dave is doing great. You could use some of this in Weird Frontiers, really, to be honest, if you're making a gunslinger or a desperado or any of those things. But this is more of a we've gone so far in the future that we've regressed, and the world is pretty much a shitstorm, and you're just trying to survive. You have faith, um, you have grit, you have 3 attributes. It's make a character in this game is so simple. You have vigor, presence, and faith, and those are resources. You roll 3d6 down the line. 10 is about the average. So if you have a 10 stat, you're doing good. And then you start with 2d6 sand. This represents how well you stave off death, and you stick to your guns. It's a very simple game mechanic. There's no like out of the box concepts, but yet the game is out of the box, if that makes sense. You have physical conflict. It's just a super simple game. Social conflict and faith conflicts. And there's a process that you go through to resolve. It's pretty simple. I really like it. I mean, you have acts of faith, so you could play a destitute preacher, or a lawman who finds God or finds something out there in the dark, in the vastness. Consequences of failure, their spiritual weight, doubt, night terrors, and haunted. Burdens and injuries. It's pretty cool when you get beat up. So if you lose all your vigor, you're dead straight up. It's cut and dry. This game is not for the faint of heart. If you're really into your character and you like playing your character for years, this may not be the game for you, because I can see, depending on how the GM runs it, and I would run this pretty dark because it's just the way the setting is. Presence, if you run out of presence, you're paralyzed. If you run out of faith, you go mad. There's some rules for rest and recovery. So you got your short rest and your long rest, and those do exactly what you think. A short rest restores all of your sand. These are some statuses that can prevent this. For example, poisoned. So if you're poisoned, short rest isn't going to help you. Long rest heals 1 attribute point, and you can also recover lost characteristics, reflect on your actions, and change gear. So if you got different gear that'll help you, you can swap it out. And then the campfire. This is the mechanic that I might implement this in my Daggerheart game, because I think this is pretty awesome. So I'm going to read this part, because I don't want to read the whole game, because it's only 28, what is it, 28, 21 pages? 28 pages? Yeah, 21 pages. That's including the back cover. But I think this is neat, and I think this is a good mechanic to put in a lot of games. After a story arc, so when you're done with whatever the story arc is for your adventure, a major event or a chapter, the band, that's what you call your party, can use recovery time to have a campfire. At the campfire, each member of the band can share a memory, lesson, or reflection from recent events. If what you share at the campfire meets the group's approval, and this is the important part, the whole group has to agree on it. Now, I've played in groups that the group wouldn't agree. So I think I like the fact that you just don't automatically get it back. The GM can hand wave it and say you do, of course, but I think it's important that the group have a say. And if you just say, well, I killed all the bad guys, that's really not worthy of a campfire tale. But if you describe in detail what you did and how you saved your partner's life, or you saved Betsy, the favorite milking cow of the town, the only milking cow of the town, that's a tale worthy of the campfire. Or you saved the mayor's daughter, or whatever, or you fought back the darkness. Those are things that are worthy of a campfire tale. So when you do that and the group agrees, the group's approval, you can rename one characteristics to a new one invented by the group and restart the characteristic at a 1, and you level up, and then that gives you a bonus to your dice. So that's a good thing. Increase the rank of a characteristic by 1 while also lowering another characteristic by 1, because again, when they max out, you start over. So it's kind of a good way. And then heal a status effect that's lingering in your inventory if it has no other remedy condition. So that could be anything. You got your melancholy or whatever, pretty much whatever the GM imposes on you. But what I do like is the burdens. We have physical burdens, and it's 1 through 12. So you roll a D12. I mean, the GM can pick, or the GM can have you roll randomly, and then you're afflicted with whatever that burden is. And there's physical, social, and faith. And I think that is amazing, And then one of the cool things in here that I also like is bonds. And a lot of games nowadays, obviously, Powered by the Apocalypse, this was a big thing in PBA games. Dungeon World was bonds. How the other characters in your posse, in your troop, in your group matter to you and help make an adventuring party that you want to fight for and be a part of. And bonds are a way to facilitate that. And so they give you some neat charts in here, like D6 charts and stuff. And there's all different kinds of bonds. We've got pact bonds, ledger bonds, iron bonds, and shared burden. And those are exactly what they sound like. And then the very last page is the enemy ensemble, and it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, I'm gonna put it up there. It's real cut and dry. It's just their stats and then what they do for damage, and then a little blurb if there is something pertinent about it. But we've got the bear, we got a black dog, a jackalope, outlaw, thug, town leader, skinwalker, wendigo, and a will-o'-the-wisp. And I think this is a good smattering of different types of creatures and NPCs that you could build your own from there. So you're not going to lose. You can read this while you're sitting on the pot. I mean, it's quick to read. It's a very good read. I'm really impressed, Jason, sir. Thank you for. Oh, I should state this was given to me for free. I believe Jason's comment was review it or don't review it. I don't give a shit. And that is Jason in a nutshell right there. And that's what I like about Jason. He's very upfront. He doesn't pull any punches, and you know where you stand. And I like people like that. And I'm happy to say he's a small part of my life. He turned me on to a lot of the cons here in the area, and he's a good guy. When I bought my Volvo, and I was driving through Wisconsin, we stopped and we had dinner at a nice little steakhouse, and he hung out with us for about 2 hours, and it was really cool. And he didn't have to do that. We only knew each other via Facebook, or not Facebook, Foundry, from playing Low Life Fantasy, or Low Fantasy Gaming, which is now Tales of Argosa. So yeah, super nice guy. Guys, pick it up. Itch.io or Drive Through RPG. Jason Hobbs, Bite the Bullet. I think it's a whopping $5 or $10. I don't remember. I think it's $5. Let me see if he told me how much it was. I don't remember. I'm old. You guys know it. He says the book is very minimal, but there are some nuggets. Yeah. And he says the graphic layout is supposed to invoke a feeling of loneliness and liminal horror, which I will say it does quite well. Yeah, it's very bleak. I mean, and the color is kind of that like beige, sandy color, yeah, it's you're not walking away from this going, "Ooh, I'm so glad I read that." It's not going to have to you're going to have to work on this one. But I will say I think it's pretty cool. I hope Jason expands upon this and maybe makes it a little more, maybe a setting book, maybe in the same pamphlet style. And I'm looking forward to seeing more because I think this is pretty cool. Hopefully, Jason will reply to this video and put a note in there of when he's running this. And if you guys are checking, you can go check out his channel, Hobbs and Company. Like I said, I'll try to remember to put a link in the doobly-doo. But if you go see him, tell him Mr. Mean sent you. But yeah, guys, Bite the Bullet, bleak, liminal horror, in a futuristic future where we're using six shooters and old iron. So very Western themed, but so far in the future that the earth is dying and it's pretty bleak. I think it's a very cool, what little setting we have. It's very cool. And I hope he expound? Anyway, that's it for me. You guys have a great night. Happy Halloween. Be safe. Hug your loved ones. You never know what tomorrow brings. And remember, peace and hair grease. And remember, as always, Mr. Mean says be nice.